My son came up to me recently and said, Dad, today I watched someone do 50 push ups. Do you think you could do that? And I was like, Son, I don't want to brag, but I think I could watch someone do at least 100 push ups, if not more. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Today, we're talking about Relic 8 and their rankings that they belong to. That's a weird way to say things, but we're doing a tier list, which is different than my past Relic 8 videos, and I mean, this is something I'll be doing periodically because things change in the game, and our preferences and priorities for Relic 8 are just going to change over the course of time. Some characters and teams are going to fall by the wayside and just not be that relevant anymore, and some of them gain prominence over the course of time. So, speaking of gaining prominence, my patrons are amazing. Thank you guys so much for your support, guys. And in just a minute, I'll tell you guys about a new feature for patrons only, exclusively patrons. A huge shout out to the people who support this channel for free as well, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, mount the algorithm if you wouldn't mind, please. You guys are amazing, and I couldn't do this without the patrons or the people who support this for free, or both, frankly. Why not do both, folks? So now this is an infographic that's going to be exclusively for patrons, so you can find the link to my Patreon in the video description. And obviously this is just a big jumbled mess, obviously, but it's going to be done probably by the end of this week, and like I said, it'll be exclusively for the patrons. The one thing I don't advertise enough for Patreon as well is that there's a bot that you can sign up in the Patreon for, the Patreon Discord channel for, and it just tracks your arena rank, and it'll just send you notifications if someone hits you, so you can not get sniped in arena, which is important. Crystals are more important than ever. So there's other features for the Patreon as well. Check it out today, guys, if you wouldn't mind. It's going to be a tricky summer for me to navigate this summer. I would really appreciate if you've been thinking about doing it, now's the time, honestly, guys. I really appreciate all of you. So let's move right on, though, folks. Enough shilling for myself, shall we, for one day at least. So whoa, we're in the game. This is madness. Wow. Okay, so we're in the game, and so what are we looking for with Relic 8? I mean, obviously a few things. So I mean, we want stats. I mean, that's essentially it, right? We want stats. Sometimes it's for requirement characters. Sometimes we unlock things with them. Sometimes we bludgeon things with them. Sometimes we keep our characters alive. There's a lot of reasons to put Relic 8 on there, but the materials are fairly expensive, even as they're more and more accessible. So we're doing a tier list today where because some Relic 8s are just more important than others. And I mean, that's what the infographic that I was showing you guys above was, or previously was. So first, the Galactic Legends, that I mean, by definition, they're overpowered, and more relics on them is going to be better. So they're in a group of their own. Getting them to Relic 8 is really important. And I suppose I should take the time just to tell you guys, Relic 8, obviously, leads to eventually, sometimes you want to put Relic 9 on characters, and so I'll try to mention that every once in a while when some characters are going to really want Relic 9. Some characters are going to want Relic 8 because the next logical step is 9, and that's where they really want to be, and so we'll talk about that as well as we go along. But Galactic Legends, I mean, it's almost just self-evident that they're going to be overpowered, right? And then we have the requirement characters, which I decided to put them in their own category because you're going to get them there eventually anyways, right? Some of them will want like Relic 8 before you actually unlock the characters. Like, for instance, Snips is a wonderful character at Relic 8, even if you're not going for Ahsoka, and so that'll actually be reflected in that infographic. That's not going to be reflected in this. We're just gonna move past them this time. We're going to move past them, but a few of them really do want relics before you unlock the thing. Malik is one of them. The various Ahsokas that you can't really tell the difference from without unless you're literate, and who's literate here? Don't don't out yourself. But that you could make an argument for any of them to be Relic 8 before you eventually farmed Ahsoka. So those are the ones that I would really consider. A lot of the other ones have really kind of fallen by the wayside. General Skywalker would be one that I would maybe consider, and maybe Han Solo if you need the damage and it's early game for you. So there's a few, but let's move right along. R2-D2 as well if you're getting Leia unlocked, though I think she's the one who requires him at Relic 8 now that I think of it. So anyways, the assault battle ones, this one is a weird one as well because that you want them at Relic 8 or 9, really. I mean 7 or 9, depending on which tier you want to do. And I mean, I don't even have them at Relic 9 on the Zombie Bros, but getting them to 8, it's not a bad idea, especially because I plan to eventually, once CG bestows upon me more droid brains from the sky, it'll be a miracle, guys, a Christmas miracle. I hope I don't have to wait that long, but I would love to get them slowly up to Relic 9. It's something to think about, though. I mean, 7 is probably enough for them, but I would say the one that's the most bang for your buck is probably Padawan Obi and Master Qui-Gon, because the Zombie Bros are a solid team, but getting them up to 9 just because of how good that squad is, it's not really worth it. Not worth it. The Queen Amidala team is legitimately very, very strong, however, and I would recommend, I mean, Relic 9 is just not going to be wasted on them, or Relic 8 for that matter. Now, we're going to go for tier S first, like that's the top tier, just because we want to talk about the best characters more, right? So we'll talk about the worst characters less as we continue on, but all of the S tier ones, in my opinion, are all like you could do them in whatever order for the most part, and so this isn't like, okay, Ezra's the very first one you put Relic 8 on, but I mean, he is a great target for Relic 8. He does a lot of damage. He's also he's one of the most needed, required, desired characters for Galactic Legends to succeed right now. Obviously, he's a conquest character, so not everyone has him, but he's really good on a Rey team. He's really good on an Ahsoka team, of course, Galactic Legend Ahsoka. And one of the things that he does the best in those squads is you can't assist against it, so he's very tough to kill. He regenerates a lot, and the big thing for him, though, is you really want to prevent him from getting one shot by like Drogon or other things. You just want him to be obnoxious and annoying forever, kind of like what he was doing to Thrawn that whole time in the show, or at least what's kind of implied. And so he's actually my next on my list to get to Relic 9. Once I get a few more droid brains, I certainly will. But he gets all these stats, guys. You want tons of health on him, and you want him to survive, and higher relics is the way to do it. But then he also gives a lot of damage, so really strong character for that. Boosh, one thing that you'll see for the tier 1, the top tier characters are, a lot of times they accompany Galactic Legends, because Galactic Legends, like I said, are just by definition overpowered and kind of broken in this game. The characters that are on their teams are going to push that advantage further. And so Boosh, even though she's only required at 7, I believe, for Jabba, you want to get her to 8 because she's an attacker and she does a ton of damage. She is also very stat hungry, and so if you give her a ton of offense via spam call during my video, how dare they, if you give her a bunch of offense via relics, you might be able to squeeze some potency onto her instead of just putting full offense, or you can just go for the full knockout punch with her offense. She does hit very, very hard, and with Jabba boosting her, she is just totally ridiculous. Of course, if you don't have Jabba, she's probably not worth Relic 8. Chrysanthemum is one that I typically say to go to level Relic 9 if you're serious about having a good Jabba team, because he just gets so crazy thick. I mean, I'm not even... I think I'll eventually have a worse one because I need to get my tenacity on my Chrysanthemum up. So, but I mean, just look at how much protection you can load on him between protection and health before Datacrons. I mean, he's close to 300,000 guys, and that's obviously at Relic 9. But after you add in the Omicron and everything, he is just a very, very thick Wookiee. It's not just hair; there's actual meat underneath it. Why don't Wookiees have like why never mind. It's just unclear why they don't wear clothes. It seems like that would be something you'd look into for a sentient creature. But anyways, you just want them to be super thick, and even though tanks don't get any specific special boosts going from 7 to 8, going up to 9 obviously is a really big boost for tanks, and he's going to be tougher to kill at 8. Darth Bane, this is a character that he's an attacker, and he's not on a Galactic Legend team. I mean, sometimes he's with the Eternal Emperor, but the big thing for him is he hunts Galactic Legends, and so against characters that are by definition overpowered, if you're hunting them with a character that's not a Galactic Legend, you probably want as many stats as you can get. You want some kind of a boost because he could die, like his opponents are really tough. It's like sometimes a team is really good, but the things that they hunt are just not that challenging, right? And so Darth Bane is one of those characters that he only hunts really tough characters, and so you want the top end mods, you want the top end everything, including relics. And so Darth Bane is he's top tier. You definitely want him. Drogon is one that I don't know if I would have put him in the top tier a couple months ago, but he definitely is. You can see I put him up to Relic 9. It's because on his first attack, guys, try it sometime if you haven't before. On his first attack, don't use a special. I know that sounds so counterintuitive and dumb, but just use a basic and watch how much crazy damage he does, and then realize how amplified it can be if you just overpower his offense stats via relics, via mods, all of that stuff. He is actually he is one of the reasons Leia is such a good Galactic Legend, is because he just one-shots people right away. Like he'll one-shot Ezra, or against an Ahsoka team, if Ezra's on there, he's too thick to kill, but he'll one-shot Sabine a lot of times, or he'll one-shot your opponent's Drogon. He just does hundreds of thousands of damage, but you have to have him with the proper relic levels in order to do that. So let's see, the next tier we have Darth Malgus. Now, Malgus, I always recommend Relic 9 because he gets a huge health boost from that. One of the big things about him, of course, and we talk about this a lot, but he does damage based off of his max health. And so the more health he has, the more damage he does. And the more relics he has, the more health he has, and the more damage he does. So also, he is a pilot for the best fleet in the game right now. So, and it's a relevant and strong ship. So more relic levels on him is also really nice. Bo-Katan is a character, she's an attacker, and oh my gosh, guys, I mean, the more I play her as a character, the more she just deletes stuff. She is amazing, and she is hunting Galactic Legends as well. Sometimes she hunts frogs, and that's great. The Gungans have it coming to them, but otherwise, she takes out a few different Galactic Legends. She takes out other really tough teams, and not only does she like take them out, she also takes the hits by them. Like she's very very attrition-y. Like she does a lot of damage, but also her whole kit is based around taking hits and taking damage. But you have to survive for long enough because she ramps on her defense over the course of time, but she has to survive in order for that to happen. And so giving her higher relics is nice, and then giving her extra damage to kill Galactic Legend level teams is also really nice. One of the best teams in the game, and putting her as an attacker up from 7 to 8 seems like a no-brainer to me. Malicos is a character that has limited use in other game modes, but if GAC is your bag, then consider the rock flinger himself. Man, I wish his relic level was just a pile of rocks, actually. That would be awesome. But he does a huge amount of damage. He's an attacker, and it would stand to reason that as he gets more relic levels, he'll do more damage. And obviously going from 7 to 8 is a nice boost for Malicos. So considering getting your relic 8 Malicos today. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. So he goes on a lot of different Jedi teams. He does a lot of really cool stuff. I actually just used Jedi Luke lead to clean up a Jabba in 3v3, which isn't a counter that I actually knew existed until today. But it's just cool because it doesn't do anything special other than he just does a ton of damage. And as an attacker, as a character who can counter a ton of different, really like either A tier, like really A-list teams, or even those Galactic Legends, like he is kind of just the cornerstone of all of the offense that you can do with the Jedi. So highly recommend getting him to 8, even though he's only required at 7. Getting that extra relic level really makes a huge difference. Starkiller is a character that is very stat hungry, and he does a lot of damage as well. He summons that Star Destroyer of healing, but it also does damage to your opponents if you didn't notice, and that's based off of his max health. However, you want to mod him with a bunch of offense, because he's going to be assisting quite a bit, though he's less and less with Emperor Palpatine, so he's not assisting quite as much. Still, you want him to be able to do a lot of damage on his own, and so therefore you want to maximize his health, you want to maximize his offense, and if both of those are increased by adding relic levels. He's also a character constantly in the hunt for Galactic Legends or A-lister teams. He's just, his opponents are fierce, and you want to make him fierce, right? So then finally, last tier here. So Reva, she's a tank. You really want to make her as tough to kill as you can. She dies 3 times, guys. Like she revives twice, and that's amazing. So giving her extra stats so that they have more health and protection. Well, she doesn't get protection from her relic levels until she gets to 9, and then even then she's a tank, but she doesn't get the tank bonus for some reason. CG was awesome about that for no reason at all, but she just doesn't get the cool stuff for being a tank, even though she's a tank. She does a lot of damage though as well, guys. She is a very strong character in her own right, as she should be for how difficult she is to obtain, but she should absolutely get more relic levels, because I mean, as a tank who taunts passively, that's awesome, right? Like, you really want that, but she dies a bunch of times, and you don't want, it's like General Skywalker, like every time he kneels and then stands back up, like people have to chew through that protection constantly, and so the more relic level she has, the more damage she does, but also the more survivable she is. Grand Inquisitor as well. I mean, really, you could make an argument for a full 5-man team of the Inquisition to be at Relic 8 just for Rise of the Empire, but I've decided not to add Rise of the Empire into this list that much, because there's a lot of characters that you probably just don't want to. I mean, you don't want to rush to 8 on a lot of them, but this special mission is a very easy one. You get your whole guild a bunch of GET3 from it, and anyways, he's your main damage dealer. He does a lot of damage, and you want him to be, he's also very, very squishy. He's easy to kill, and so giving him a little bit more of a boost there is advisable, like trying to keep him alive. Who knew? Queen Amidala. So this is an interesting one, because getting her to 8 or 9 or wherever I mean, it was a good idea for the raid, right? The raid is about to end, and she won't be probably raiding in the next one. It would be my guess for Order 66, but I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised. But she probably won't be. And so her utility at 9 is or 8 is really not she doesn't do that much damage. The big thing is her decoy. Her decoy summons at a lot of hit points based off of her relic level, and giving her 8 or 9 is a really cool thing because it just takes your opponent, if you put him on defense, takes him a while to chew through that character, and then eventually she can just summon another one. So really strong character, really strong candidate for Relic 8, just because that summon is kind of the key to that squad's success. And it's I mean, it's a locked taunt. It's tough to get past at this point, even still for most teams. So she makes that character good enough that it's worth putting relic levels. Then you have 2 characters that you're upgrading. Every relic level counts for 2. It's kind of like the logic we used to use for the Geobrood Alpha. Dark Side Rate, I mean, she goes with Supreme Leader Kylo. Supreme Leader Kylo is really good. He's always been really good. Now she's really good as well. She makes him just so ridiculously strong, and she's also stat hungry. People can't decide whether they want her to be fast, or they want her to hit hard, or they want her to be survivable. But one way or another, all of those things, not the speed part, I guess, but all of the other ones can be addressed via relic levels. So getting her to 8 as an attacker also seems like a no-brainer. Balin's Skull, he probably wants to march to Relic 9 at some point, just because he's a tank, and he pre-taunts. He does a lot of cool stuff. He's a strong character, does a lot of neat things. And he's just very stat hungry as well, because he does a decent amount of damage, though the other characters, Merrick and Shin, do a lot of the other damage as well. He does damage, but he also wants to survive. Imagine that. So giving him a lot of defense, a lot of health and protection, all of the stats that he wants to be a good tank are found in relic levels on a team that is constantly facing A-list teams or galactic legends. So that's the S tier, guys. We're gonna whip through the tier A a little bit faster now. Afra, she doesn't want to die. And so I mean, she's obviously all these characters are just less and less important, right? But if you do have her, you don't want her to die, and she really wants a lot of potency instead. Like, so you gotta load her up with potency, but then she also, like I said, if she gets targeted and killed by the AI, or if she's on defense, whatever, then I mean, it's game over, man. And getting her to Relic 8 is it just makes her a lot tougher to kill. Ben Solo, he is an attacker. He does a tremendous amount of damage if he's modded correctly. And so going up from 7 to 8, yeah, it just does a lot. Remember, he also hits with special damage. And I guess a lot of the damage he does, I mean, it's special, but it's also true damage. But the special damage is amplified even more when you look at how much he gains on each relic level. So just something to keep in mind, folks. He's very stat hungry. He wants to do damage, and we want to facilitate that. Jedi Cal. So this is one that I would say, like, you don't need this, but if you don't have great mods in Rise of the Empire, then his mission to unlock Zepho is one of the most vital things you can do in Rise of the Empire. And getting him to Relic 8, he'll do more damage, he'll be more survivable, and I mean, you could lose Seer and still win it if your Cal is good enough. And so getting him a ton of health and a lot of speed and all of that stuff, obviously you don't get speed from the relic level, but it's very relevant to get him that. Apo, he's an attacker for the new clone team with Lord Vader. We don't know everything about that team yet as of right now, but it does look like he's going to be doing a tremendous amount of damage. And so even though I have him at 9, I don't think I'd recommend him at 9 typically, other than, I mean, he's good for that Nightfall mission, right? So anyways, it's looking like a Relic 8 for him is going to be very warranted. Jocasta Nu looks like she's going... I mean, she does a crazy amount of damage with her lightsaber gun. And, I mean, this is speculation on my part. She'll be used in the new raid as well, so you probably want her to 8 anyways for the raid. But I think as a lifter, unit, even for a non-galactic legend. She just does a crazy amount of damage. It's funny to think that this character is the one that's probably going to do the most damage on her squad long term, but I think she is, and Relic 8 is the place to be for high-end attackers. So, moving right along here, guys. Maul got kind of downgraded because he is no longer, Robot Legs Maul is no longer the lifter unit for Lord Vader. I mean, he kind of is until we get the last clone and we can farm all the clones, but his days are numbered, and he's just going to go down to a team that's very B tier. I mean, it can do some damage, and people are going to get angry with me in the comments saying that he's not saying he's way better than you say, and I get it. He can take out Galactic Legends in the right circumstances. Him with Gar and ISC and all the other Mandalorians are really good. But the reason I have him at 9 because he went with Lord Vader. He was a very strong character, and he also is a candidate that everyone is stat hungry, but he's more than that because he does damage based off of his max health and his offense as well. And so as you add relic levels, you're gaining on both health and offense, and that helps. It's nice. It's soothing. Jar Jar is a character that I don't think you need him at 8 really, unless you're gonna get him to 9 as well, because he has a thing in his kit that gives his shield generator stuff an extra stack if he's at 9. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend him up to 8, excepting that thou proceedeth directly to 9. Dash is one that I normally, okay, so he does a lot of damage. He does some cool stuff. The reason I really like him, it's noticeable to me. I have him at 8 on my main account, 7 on my alt, and at 7 he doesn't lap the profundity on his ship. The reason I want him at 8 is because profundity hands him a turn, and then with a basic, and then his ship, the Outrider, takes a turn, and then it eventually takes a second turn before punishing one, or before profundity goes again. And so really like his interaction with that at 8. He also does a good amount of damage, which is I mean, that's nice too, but that's not, he's niche enough, he's corner case enough that I don't think he's good enough to just put up to 8 just on the strength of his character alone. But for a pilot, it's pretty strong. Fennec, she just does a ton of damage with her nut kicks, and she does 5 flying nut kicks, and with more relic levels, those kicks deal more damage, do more permanent damage to whoever she's kicking. BT1, if you want to do damage, man, he just does a crazy amount of damage. Going from 7 to 8, fairly obvious with this guy too. Very efficient use of a relic level. Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, really strong with the new zombie troopers around. He and his team are kind of ascendant lately. They've been doing a lot of cool stuff, and in Territory Wars, he's being used all over the place, doing all sorts of cool stuff. His anti-turn meter shenanigan kit is really strong. So because he's a tank, you kind of want to travel toward getting him up to relic 8 or 9. So that's good. Mace Windu, he's very stat hungry. He's got a really great Territory War Omicron as well. And so he wants to do damage. He wants to survive. And he's got that old school kit with a ton of really bad stats. So giving him more relic levels, especially getting him up to, I mean, if you get him to 9, it's not a bad idea, guys, because he's very relevant in TW. And who knows, man? Maybe he'll even be on his own squad with the Jedi Master Mace Windu coming out. Padawan, Sabine, Ren. So all of the characters on the new Galactic Legend team really benefit from going to 8 just because you do more damage and you survive longer, and she is no exception. She's meant to represent the entire squad. Embo is a good target as well because he does a lot of damage. He's also really strong in TW, and yeah, he just does a lot of cool stuff. He does a lot of damage. He's not urgent to 8, but man, you'd really notice a difference. Omega Fugitive, I just made a guide about this team recently, guys. So go check that out. It's one of my most recent videos. Just a Bad Batch Faction Essentials. But she has 2 different parts of her kit that rely on her having higher relic levels. And she gets boosts based off of those relic levels, and so as a target for level 8, she's not bad, especially on a team that's fairly good. So tier B, these are all teams that and characters that I don't think we're gonna go into right now, guys, but they're good stretch goals. Team characters like Shin, Merrick is meant to be right next to Herb just because they're on a Balin squad and they do a lot of damage, but between the two of them, but they also want to be survivable. Jin is really good on the Leia team now, and getting her damage up is really cool. Crew is a nice character because he's a tank on a Galactic Legends team. Dengar is here because of his ship, and only because of his ship, because it makes his ship go before all of the Leviathan ships, which is really nice. But Relic 9 on him, obviously luxury, but very, very nice. Dark Trooper, like most of these characters are like on teams that are just not that good anymore. So like Dark Trooper does a lot of damage, but his team isn't that relevant anymore. Bosk, he survives really nicely with a lot of relic levels, but you don't use his team very often. Hondo is, I mean, he goes on the Balin squad and does a ton of damage. Fives is a nice tank. He's also a good pilot. Scout Trooper does a lot of damage. L3 is a really strong tank with a Patron. Savage is GAC only, but does a lot of damage and survives a long time. Darth Talon is just fun to show off my stupidity of giving her Relic 8. Ki-Adi-Mundi does a crazy amount of damage with his stuff, but you know, just don't use him as often lately, guys. He's just I mean, he's probably more useful in TW, but Grievous used to be, he's the definition of a has-been. Used to counter all kinds of cool stuff, and now he still counters those things, but those things aren't on defenses. Resistance Hero Finn just does more damage. Morgan Elsbeth does more tanking at Relic 8, and she is her team is very, very relevant. Luthen, his summon is takes his stats based on how many relics he does, and Luthen does okay amount of damage. It's not great. Royal Guard, he's definitely on the downturn because he's not going to be on Lord Vader's team anymore. So he used to be super good. If you don't have the clones, though, he's still decent at Relic 8 for Lord Vader. And then Baze, I mean, I've made very strong arguments in Baze's favor before, and it seems like he just keeps getting cut from the teams that really matter with him. Unfortunately, like, we used to use Adrad to counter Inquisition, but Inquisition is so seldom placed on defense lately, or they have such a good Datacron that Baze's assistance to take him out isn't absolutely needed. But he's still good on a Leia team. He's still good on any of the Rebel Fighter teams. He is amazing on a Rogue One team, and in 3v3 especially, we find a lot of use for him. Even on my main account, I end up using that team quite a bit. So anyways, that's it for today, folks. Are there more characters that I missed that should be relegated? I'm sure there are. You guys can let me know in the comments, respectfully. I would be interested to hear what you have to say. So anyways, folks, I'm calling it, pulling the plug, so to speak. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails. Take care, folks.